One of
Oh,
the
thank
kind
you.
of ways that you funded the magazine was on a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about that for a bit?
No,
You know,
go for it.
because again, I know nothing about Kickstarting, and it's just like, what's the process? Like, how does it work? That kind of thing. And how did you use it for the magazine?
So I'd only used Kickstarter as someone who'd backed a couple of projects before, so I didn't know crazy amounts about it either. But I'd probably set up a few businesses before, had ideas for businesses where, I'd read Lean Startup
Hmm.
years and years ago, and I'd read these books and just then set up businesses and kind of not put, really bought into the minimum viable product kind of, uh, process, and then just not done it. So I was like, right, this time going to make sure people want it before I make it.
Hmm.
And, it's useful, super useful to have the money up front, basically. And it wouldn't have been possible. But the main thing, I mean, the great thing for us about Kickstarter was that we could get the money up front and prove that people wanted it. So if we didn't get the money, people didn't want it, right? So, and I guess a lot of the time with Kickstarter, so what you do is you have to set a target amount, and if you don't make that amount, you don't get any of the money. um, so that was a really hard decision to make, and even probably until a few days before, I was like, oh, I just set it for like 6 grand, and
Hmm.
then I was like, no, 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 I'll try for like 8 grand, and just kept kind of remodeling and remodeling, and we set it for nearly 13, and but ended up on 18.
Hmm.
So that was amazing. But obviously you're also thinking, because there's a big, if people are going to get behind it, they're going to get behind it kind of until you get to your amount, and then that's going to kind of drop off. So you have to kind of think about it like, okay, well, I want to set it at, it's really hard to decide, and I don't know
Yeah.
how you would do that for sure. um but a lot of the time you give your backers rewards.
Hmm.
So you say, right, if you donate, or if you give £10, you might get this. So for instance, if you were going to set up a bakery, you might say, okay, well, if you give us £10, you'll get a tote bag. And if you give us £50, you'll get, a basket of bread when we open or something. But the good thing for us was we only sold the magazine through the Kickstarter. So we didn't sort of give other rewards. The only rewards we gave was the magazine, so, and advertising space. So I think that was kind of good to prove that people wanted it,
Hmm.
as well as, of course, there was still a bit of goodwill in there. But yeah, it was kind of good just to be able to, it made everything a lot simpler as well, to just give away the product as
Hmm.
the reward.
Hmm. And I
So
guess,
yeah.
did you have to give up equity or anything? Like, is it just a
No,
case
you
of
don't.
people
Yeah.
donate 20 quid and they get 2 magazines for that, and then you ship them out, and then you're kind of clear and done? Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's
Oh, wow.
it's they back you, and um yeah, they choose a reward basically, and then they get that reward.
No,
No
okay.
equity.
I think it's there's so much stuff out there that you have a lot of people that do want to start a whatever, and they're trying to figure out, how do I pay for it? What do I do? And it's just, often I genuinely didn't know the answer. I'd looked into it. I'd even, been on the Kickstarter page, but I didn't quite get it. And sometimes
Mm.
there's so much value in just being able to hear from someone that has done it. Even if they tell you the exact thing that you already knew, you feel better just because you've heard them say it. It's
Yeah, for
it's a
sure.
really silly thing.